We also develop self-driving cars, and I think it's absolutely the future, but not for everyone and not for every situation.
While some attendees welcomed the new technology, others were skeptical.
When it comes to autonomous cars, we have a very analog crowd here. We have people that love to drive their cars. Most of them, myself included, like to shift their cars as well. So the idea of a car that drives itself, that's a Greyhound bus, in my view. That's my personal opinion.
It's a fantastic platform, I think, for the business leaders thought what they have been thinking. You need, so it is to keep you updated. So I think WION is a fantastic channel, fantastic platform to keep yourself updated and getting the thoughts from the business leader.
The stress of our world can take a toll on our physical and emotional health. Here, in New York's Catskill Mountains, lies a luxurious place of healing called WION Wellness Center. The WION Wellness Center provides 500,000 square feet of natural methods to manage diabetes, hypertension, chronic pain, obesity, depression, anxiety, and other conditions. We use the traditions of centuries-old natural science from India, yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy in personalized programs that help you take charge of your own health. A minimum 5-day stay is recommended for best results. Book now at YoOne.com.
Hello and welcome to the West Asia Post. I am Radi Francis coming to you for a new episode of WION's weekly show from one of the world's most volatile regions. In the new, Iran has launched a new threat to Israel, saying it has a new generation of deadly missiles. In Gaza, Israel has launched its biggest offensive yet. The Israeli soldiers are struggling, but they are set to take over the whole Gaza Strip. Not only in Palestine, Iran and Israel. If we look at Syria, Iraq and Turkey, another crisis is unfolding. Climate change and drought. All this is lined up, but first, let's take a look at the headlines.
This year, UAE classrooms are stepping into the future. For the first time ever, students will study artificial intelligence as part of their school curriculum. The 2025-2026 academic year marks a major shift. AI is no longer just a buzzword, it's a subject. Children in the first and second cycles, that's roughly ages 6 to 15, will have an AI class every 2 weeks. Older students in the third cycle, ages 15 to 18, will study AI weekly. Over 1,000 trained teachers will lead these lessons. They've been equipped with expert training, resources, and lesson plans, all to ensure students don't just learn how AI works, but how to use it responsibly. The course will cover everything from data, algorithms and software to ethics, innovation, real-world projects, even community impact. As UAE puts it, this is about preparing students with future-ready skills. And it doesn't stop there. The new school year also brings big education reforms. Second-term centralized exams have been scrapped, replaced with school-based assessments. Plus, a new national proficiency test will measure Arabic, English, and maths for students from grades 4 to 11. Nearly 1 million students will return to classrooms this year. But when they walk in, it won't just be new books and uniforms waiting for them. It'll be a whole new way of learning, a step into the age of artificial intelligence.
Tensions are spiraling in West Asia. Iran has launched a new chilling warning to Israel, saying it would unleash a new generation of deadly missiles if Israel attacks. We tell you more.
Iran is armed and ready, warning that the next war could break out any moment. In a chilling statement, Iran claims it has developed a new generation of missiles faster, more accurate, and deadlier than before. The message is blunt. If Israel launches another attack, Iran will retaliate with full force. The statement comes just days after heightened tensions in the region. Iranian commanders say war with Israel could break out at any moment. Officials insist the new missiles have longer range, advanced guidance systems, and can evade Israeli air defenses. This is not just saber-rattling. Iran has already demonstrated its reach with precision drone and missile attacks in June. Israel had launched airstrikes on Iranian nuclear facilities, military bases, and civilian areas, resulting in over 1,000 deaths, including prominent commanders and nuclear scientists. Within hours, Iran responded with ballistic missiles, causing dozens of casualties in Israel. Now, with claims of better missiles on standby, Israel faces the threat of a two-front confrontation, its north already volatile, with Hezbollah in Lebanon and Tehran pressing from afar. But Iran is also offering an olive branch. It says it is willing to limit their nuclear program if sanctions relief is back on the table.
This is not something new. We have said that to build confidence about the peaceful nature of our nuclear program, we are ready to take a series of actions provided that the unfair sanctions are lifted.
The dual messages, one of military readiness and the other of diplomatic flexibility, highlight the intense and conflicting nature of Tehran. A nation preparing for a potential conflict while simultaneously seeking a way out of crippling economic sanctions.
Israel's war machine has reached Gaza city inside the Gaza Strip. They say they want to take over the city, but the Israelis are struggling, another struggle of their own, a shortage of soldiers and deserters. Listen in.
Gaza City is under brutal Israeli siege. The Strip is witnessing a deadly offensive which sees no bounds. The day starts with loud explosions, lighting Gaza's skyline. Israeli soldiers armed with assault rifles are on the move. The streets of Gaza are all movement and chaos. Israeli tanks and soldiers advance into Gaza City, tightening the noose. Israel has pulled the trigger on its most ambitious operation in Gaza yet. The offensive is codenamed Gideon's Chariots B. The plan consists of 5 divisions, 14 brigades, and an army of more than 100,000 troops. The first waves of soldiers have already moved in, from Zaytun in the east to Jabalia in the north. Israel says the mission is to encircle, strangle, and finally storm Hamas's stronghold. But behind this massive push lies a hidden crisis. The IDF is struggling to fill its ranks. Some 60,000 reservists are now being called up, with more to come in November, December, and even next year. Another 20,000 have had their tours extended. The total is a staggering number which stands at 130,000 troops.
We are not waiting. We have begun the preliminary operations and the first stages of the attack on Gaza City, and already now IDF forces are holding the outskirts of Gaza City.
And still, it's not enough. The army admits it is short 10 to 12,000 soldiers. So now, for the first time, Israel is looking abroad to the Jewish diaspora. The target is young men and women from America and France. And the goal is 600 to 700 new recruits every year. All of this as thousands of Israelis are trying to leave the army. More than 14,600 deserters have walked away, many of them ultra-Orthodox men who have long fought conscription. The IDF is now arresting draft dodgers. This week, Israel gave a final offer: report for duty now or face jail. Meanwhile, the human cost is already clear. Israel says 1 million Palestinians will be displaced from Gaza City. Camps are being built in the south. Aid stations, field hospitals, and even the European hospital in Khan Yunis are being prepared for the exodus.
What drove me out is the hunger, the siege, the war, the rockets falling on us, and the drones bombing all night.
I swear to God, the situation is difficult. The missile attacks made us leave, and we were afraid of a mass exodus when everyone leaves, so we won't find transportation or any other means to leave.
The head of the UN Palestinian Refugee Agency warned that children suffering from malnutrition in Gaza will die during Israel's Gaza City military operation amid worsening hunger crisis.
Today, we are living in the reality of this famine, and the famine is spreading throughout the Gaza Strip. We call on and urge everyone to extend a helping hand and to bring in food supplies, to lift the siege and stop the ongoing extermination being carried out in Gaza.
With figures from our health centers, we have seen that between the month of March and today, a 6-fold increase in the number of severely malnourished children, which means that if no measures are taken today, they are certainly sentenced to death.
As the clock ticks towards October 7th, the second anniversary of Hamas's attack, the deadline for evacuation looms. After that, the IDF says the full-scale storming of Gaza City will begin. Israel is fighting on 2 fronts, one against Hamas in the streets of Gaza, the other within its own ranks. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Going back to Gaza, where a graduation ceremony that was meant to be a celebration turned into a heartbreaking event, where children carried the photos of their deceased parents. Orphans walked the stage with heartbreaking photos of their dead parents. The next report tells you more. regardless of the different struggles and the crippling wars. Syria, Iraq, and Turkey have a different crisis, one that has nothing to do with politics, but is not the less dangerous. We're talking about drought and climate change. People are grappling. There's crisis in agriculture and in livelihoods. The next report tells you more.
West Asia is running dry. Syria, Iraq, and Turkey are facing their worst droughts in decades, threatening food security, water supplies, and regional stability. In Syria, the United Nations says wheat production has fallen by 40%, the biggest drop in 36 years. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization estimates a wheat shortfall of 2.7 million metric tons this year, enough to feed 16 million people.
This year we planted 100 donums and we harvested nothing. The crops didn't grow and even the shepherds didn't benefit from the land. We incurred huge losses, including farm wages, seeds, and fertilizer.
The World Food Programme warns that 3 million Syrians could face severe hunger, while over half the country is already food insecure.
So far, no quantities of wheat have arrived in Syria, except for a grant from our Iraqi brothers. Other than that, it is being purchased by the Syrian government.
Iraq is grappling with its driest year since 1933. Official figures show water levels in the Tigris and Euphrates have dropped by up to 27% due to low rainfall and upstream dams. The United Nations warns Basra, with a population of 3.5 million, is now the country's most water-stressed region, with saltwater intrusion destroying agriculture and fisheries. In Turkey, the Meteorological Service reports, rainfall in July plunged 71% nationwide and 95% below normal in the Marmara region. The Nayp Dam in Tekirdağ has completely dried out, while reservoirs across the country have dropped to their lowest levels in 52 years, triggering water cuts in major provinces.
We are the region and province most affected by drought in Turkey, our country and our region. In the last 2 months, not a single drop of rain has fallen in the Nayp Dam Basin, Yazir or Turkmenli Basin.
The common thread is clear. Climate change, poor management, and competing demands for water are piling pressure on an already fragile region. With farmlands failing and reservoirs emptying, millions are at risk, and experts warn that without urgent action, drought could spark the next wave of crisis across West Asia. Bureau Report. WION, World is One.
For our bulletin ender, let's go to Saudi Arabia, that is really working hard on its image, rebranding its image. The kingdom is now working on spectacles, plays, and shows. Now there's a cowboy town. We tell you more.
Saudi Arabia is rewriting its story, not with oil or politics, but with lights, music, and spectacle. In Riyadh, a new show called Terhal, which means a journey, takes audiences across the kingdom's landscapes and legends. It blends traditional songs, dances, and costumes with high-tech lighting and acrobatics. The story follows Saad, a young Saudi exploring his homeland. Performed by a troupe of more than 100, including 50 Saudis on stage, this is entertainment with a purpose. After earlier music festivals, including DJs and raves, sparked controversy, the lineup is shifting towards Saudi and culture.
At the request of the Ministry of Culture, we wrote a play. We studied the local culture extensively, so I spent months with consultants, professors, local writers, And I learned about the regions, the culture, the dances, the music, and also the food.
If I got this opportunity 10 years ago, I would have done it too, because this is a dream since I was younger. And to participate in a performance show, definitely I'll do it.
Vision 2030, the kingdom's reform project. Just a few years ago, concerts were banned and women were policed for showing their hair. Today, the same country is hosting Formula One, international pop stars and homegrown productions like Terhal. And outside the capital, another stage is making waves. In the mountain city of Abha, Cowboy Town, a pop-up Wild West experience is drawing families with horseback riding, archery, western dance and live theatre.
We are proud Saudis who cherish our identity, our Arab roots, our culture, and even our Bedouin heritage. We don't deny this identity. It runs in our blood. But the purpose of creating this theme was to showcase Saudi tourism to the furthest reach possible.
Visitors say the cool weather and misty highlands make it feel magical. Authorities see it as a step towards tripling tourism in the region by 2030.
We came from Riyadh, where the climate is very different. The weather here is beautiful, and the cowboy experience was fun and suitable for all age groups, young and elderly. It was truly an enjoyable experience.
The bigger picture is clear. Last year, Saudi Arabia attracted 116 million visitors, a record number. Entertainment is now central to its economic transformation.
Now let's go to Jordan, where the new crown prince says there's a patriotic move. The kingdom, the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan, is bringing back military conscription after 34 years. This is to empower the region's youth, especially in Jordan, to face threats from Israel and beyond. Listen in.
In the heart of Jordan, a cold wind of history is returning. The country is bringing back compulsory military service for the first time in over 3 decades. The decision comes not in isolation, but in the shadow of escalating words from Israeli leaders, words that reach beyond borders, reviving the notion of a greater Israel. The Israeli vision that claims parts of Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and even Egypt in its most extreme form, and extends far beyond the occupied West Bank and Gaza. For Jordan, these words are not rhetoric. They are a direct threat. A nation that already shares a long, fragile border with Israel is now calling on its youth to be ready. The new national service program will begin with 6,000 recruits split into groups, each undergoing intensive 3-month training during which phones will be banned. But beyond the drill grounds, this is also a symbol, a move to unite a restless population, to channel unemployed youth into service, and to signal resolve. Jordan is preparing its young men for an era where maps are again being questioned and borders, once again, feel fragile. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
That's all we have for you on this episode of the West Asia Post. I will see you next week with a brand new lineup, bringing you always the most recent updates, news and ground reports from the world's most volatile region. I am Radi Francis, signing off from Sur, Tyre in southern Lebanon. And this is WION, World is One.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
WION Health Resort is unique, the only one of its kind. Experience the 4 paths of natural wellness: yoga, Ayurveda,